All right, diving in. This time, we're tackling excerpts from the Rosicrucian Mysteries by Max Heindel.
Oh, this is a good one.
It is. Reincarnation, what makes up humans and the universe, spiritual forces, the whole shebang.
It really is a deep dive.
Ready to get your mind blown?
Always.
Okay, so, Heindel, right. He's coming from the Rosicrucian tradition, but he's not just laying out a bunch of mystical ideas.
No, definitely not.
He wants to give people actual tools
Yes.
for spiritual development and how we fit into this huge cosmos.
A cosmos much grander than we usually think about, that's for sure.
For sure. So let's start with the Rosicrucians themselves.
Okay.
They're not just history, right?
Not at all.
Heindel presents them as like an active force in the world.
Mm-hmm.
They're working against, the pull of just focusing on material stuff.
Right, the material world.
And they want to help humanity evolve spiritually.
Guide us along, yeah.
And they believe we're at this turning point, entering the Aquarian Age.
The big changes.
Huge. Heindel saw this time as having so much potential for spiritual growth, intellectual growth.
The time of awakening.
But also, it could be dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
We aren't ready, ethically.
We've got to be prepared for that expanded consciousness.
Right. It's like no pressure, but evolve or else.
Well, I think that's putting it a little dramatically.
Maybe. But speaking of big changes, this book tackles life and death.
One of the big mysteries.
The biggest. Heindel goes through materialism, theology, and then the Rosicrucian view, reincarnation.
The classic.
He doesn't just present them as equal options, though.
Right.
He argues that reincarnation is the only one that lines up with natural laws.
That makes sense from his perspective.
And it explains, why there's so much inequality in the world.
It provides a framework.
Yeah, he uses this analogy of a school.
Oh, I like that one.
We come back to Earth, life after life.
They keep learning.
Yeah, just students go through grades.
Makes sense.
And he says remembering past lives is possible. He even tells a story about this boy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's visiting a city for the first time.
Yeah.
And he has these super vivid memories.
Like he'd lived there before.
Exactly.
I wonder if that happens more than we realize.
Right. Have you ever had deja vu?
Oh, definitely.
But so strong, it's more than just a feeling.
Yeah, more like a memory.
Maybe there's something to that.
To be.
Okay, get ready, because now we're going into invisible worlds.
Here we go.
Heindel says there are all these realms existing right alongside our own.
Whoa.
He talks about the physical world.
Which is divided.
Yeah, into the chemical and etheric regions.
Okay.
Then there's the desire world and the world of thought.
Each one totally different.
Totally.
Like layers of...
Layers, yeah. He uses these really cool examples to explain it.
Like what?
Like a statue that lasts for centuries.
Okay.
That represents the physical world because
Yeah.
it's so solid and enduring.
I see.
A painting, though, with its colors fading over time, that's the desire world. Everything's in flux, driven by, wants and feelings. And then music, it's beautiful but fleeting.
Yeah, it doesn't last.
That reflects the world of thought.
I see, like how ideas come and go.
Exactly.
So these different levels are all around us.
All the time.
And they're affecting us.
Absolutely. Think about music, right? How it can change your mood so powerfully.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Maybe that's the world of thought, seeping into our emotions.
Wow, that's a cool way to think about it.
Right.
Definitely.
And then there are the beings that inhabit these worlds.
Oh, yeah, this is where it gets really interesting.
Nature spirits, angels, archangels.
Oh, hierarchy.
Even these things called lords of mind.
Whoa.
It's like this whole cosmic ecosystem we don't even notice.
We're oblivious.
Totally. Heindel says that what we think of as the laws of nature might actually be intelligent beings guiding things.
Like they're running the show.
Yeah. He compares it to, a dog watching a mechanic.
Okay, I like this analogy.
The dog sees the mechanic building an engine, but it doesn't get the why.
It just sees the effects, not the cause.
Right.
So we might be like that dog, just observing the results.
Without really understanding the bigger picture.
Exactly.
Okay, now we're getting to the Rosicrucian view of what makes up a human.
Lay it on me.
Get ready for this. He says we have multiple bodies.
What, like beyond the physical?
Yeah. Beyond the physical body, we have the vital body, the desire body, and the mind body.
So that's 4 bodies in total.
4 bodies, and they each do something different.
What does the vital body do?
The vital body governs growth, our health, our vitality.
Okay, that makes sense.
And it's born around age 7.
Born. It's like it develops at that age.
Yeah, that's when it really comes into play.
Interesting.
Then the desire body.
That's our emotions and desires, right?
Exactly. It emerges around age 14.
Makes you think about teenage years in a whole new light.
Right. And finally, the mind body.
What age does that come in?
Around age 21.
Okay, makes sense. That's when you're considered an adult.
Right. It allows for abstract thought, reasoning.
Wow, so it's not just metaphorical.
No, he gets into how they work, how they interact with each other, and those different realms.
It's a whole system.
The whole system, yeah.
So this is how Rosicrucians see humans.
Yep.
With all these different layers.
Now imagine what happens when the physical body dies, but these other bodies keep going.
Right, what then?
That's what we're going to dive into next.
I can't wait. Well, death isn't really an ending in the Rosicrucian view. It's more like a transition.
Like moving from one room to another?
Kinda, yeah. But a big move, obviously, to a different state of being.
Right, and Heindel gets into, like, what might happen during that transition.
Yeah, he describes these individuals. He calls them invisible helpers.
Okay, invisible helpers, what are those?
They can, like, consciously leave their physical bodies.
What, while they're alive?
Yeah. And they can work in those invisible realms, helping people who are crossing over.
Wow, so they're like cosmic guides.
Yeah, you could say that, helping souls navigate the afterlife.
It's like cosmic first responders.
Exactly. And he makes a distinction between them and, mediums.
Okay, mediums, how are they different?
Mediums might also have contact with those realms, but they're more passive.
Oh, I see. Like they're not in control.
Yeah, they might be controlled by other entities.
Makes sense.
But invisible helpers, they're doing it with awareness, with a purpose.
They're choosing to be there.
Right, they're offering guidance, support.
That's a big difference.
So Heindel says that right after death, there's this thing called the panorama of life.
Okay, the panorama of life, what's that?
It's like, imagine your whole life flashing before your eyes.
Like a movie.
Yeah, but you're not just watching it.
You're reliving it.
Exactly. You're experiencing every action, every consequence, the good and the bad.
Whoa, that would be intense.
And it's not just a replay. You're feeling the emotional impact of your actions, too.
So it's not just about seeing what you did, but feeling how it affected everything.
Yeah, and all those experiences, they get kind of etched into your desire body.
The desire body, that's the one that handles emotions,
yeah.
Right?
So it shapes your future, influences the choices you make in later lives.
Wow, so it's not punishment exactly.
No, it's more like understanding the ripple effect of your actions.
Like cause and effect.
Exactly. Experiencing those consequences. It helps your soul evolve.
So it's a learning experience.
That's the idea. And Heindel really emphasizes a peaceful death.
Because?
Because if there are disturbances during the process, it can mess up that panorama.
Oh. So you wouldn't be able to process your experiences fully.
Right. It'd be like trying to watch a movie with constant interruptions.
You'd miss important parts.
Exactly. So how does this all tie into purgatory and heaven?
Yeah, those are big concepts.
Heindel has a unique take on them.
How so?
He says they're not actual places, but states of consciousness.
Okay, that's different.
Like purgatory, it's about purification.
Getting rid of the bad stuff.
Yeah, confronting those negative desires and emotions you've built up.
So it's not fire and brimstone.
No, it's more about self-confrontation.
Facing your demons.
Kinda, yeah, it's about transformation through cause and effect.
You're dealing with the consequences of your actions.
Exactly, and this is where it gets really cool. He introduces this idea of self-purgation.
Self-purgation.
Yeah, it's like every night you review your day.
Like a recap.
But in reverse, you start with what you did just before bed, then work backwards.
Interesting.
And you feel remorse for any wrongdoing, joy for the good stuff.
So you're constantly processing your actions.
Right, and he says this helps you learn and evolve.
So you spend less time in purgatory.
That's the idea.
It's like a nightly check-in with yourself.
And even if you don't believe in reincarnation, this practice can help you be more self-aware, live a more ethical life.
That makes sense. It's good advice regardless.
Now, Heindel also talks about some tough stuff.
Oh, yeah, like what?
Like suicide.
Right. That's always a difficult topic.
He says that people who commit suicide, they experience a really hard time in the desire world.
Like it's a punishment.
Not exactly. It's more like a natural consequence.
Of what?
Of cutting their life short.
Yeah.
Before learning the lessons they were supposed to learn.
So their soul's journey gets interrupted.
Right. And they have to come back eventually to face those lessons.
Oh, see, so it's about the natural order of things.
That's the Rosicrucian view, yeah.
What about babies who die?
That's another tough one. But Heindel offers a comforting thought.
What's that?
He says, those children, they get special care in the first heaven.
Like a special school.
Kinda, yeah, a nurturing environment where they can learn and grow, make up for their lost time.
That's a beautiful thought.
It is. It offers solace to those who've lost young children.
So after all this purification, all this learning in the heavens, where do we go next?
Right? According to Heindel, we get to choose our next life.
Wait, seriously? We get to choose?
That's what he says. We review potential lives and pick the one that's best for our soul's growth.
So it's not random or fate?
Nope. We actively participate in shaping our next incarnation.
Wow, that's amazing. But what about our past actions? Don't they affect things?
They do. We have free will, but it's influenced by our karma from past lives.
So it's like a mix of choice and consequence.
Exactly, like a cosmic choose-your-own-adventure, but with some limitations based on your past choices.
And astrology plays a role in this too, right?
Absolutely. Heindel says astrology helps us understand our strengths, our weaknesses, our karmic tendencies.
So we can make better choices.
Yeah, it's like having a cosmic roadmap for your soul's journey.
It's incredible to think that what we do now can affect our future lives so much.
It really is. It's like we're co-creating our future reality with every choice we make.
That's a powerful thought.
It is, and Heindel introduces this other cool concept, the archetype.
Archetype, what's that?
It's like a blueprint you create in the world of thought, and it shapes your physical body, your environment, in your next life.
So it's like a design plan for your next incarnation.
Exactly, and it's shaped by your thoughts, your desires, your actions in this life.
So what we think and do now, it's literally shaping our future.
That's what Heindel's saying. It's pretty mind-blowing.
It really is. It makes you think about your choices in a whole new way.
Right. If we're building our future selves with every decision, every action.
What kind of world are we creating, both for ourselves and everyone else?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah, it really makes you think, doesn't it? Like, every little choice matters, not just for now, but for all those lives to come.
Right. It's a big responsibility.
So we've been talking about invisible worlds and these multiple bodies and how it all works together.
Like a glimpse behind the curtain.
It is. The universe is way more complex than we usually think about.
Oh, for sure. But Heindel doesn't just leave us with abstract concepts.
No, he actually gives some practical advice, too.
Oh, right. Like how to live in harmony with all this stuff.
Yeah, remember the vital body.
The one that keeps us healthy.
Exactly. Heindel says taking care of it is super important.
Makes sense.
And he specifically talks about being vegetarian.
Really? So our diet affects our spiritual development.
That's what he says. He thinks eating meat brings in, like, bad vibes.
Disrupts the system.
Yeah, it gets in the way of spiritual growth.
So it's about recognizing how everything's connected.
Right. What we put in our bodies affects everything, not just our physical health.
It's all one big system.
He also talks about some pretty intense spiritual practices.
Oh, yeah.
There's this one called the mystic death.
Ooh, sounds kind of scary.
I know, right? But it's not about actually dying.
So what is it?
It's like a symbolic death and then a resurrection.
Okay.
Rosicrucian initiates go through it.
To help them grow spiritually.
Yeah, it speeds things up.
I see. So it's like a way to let go of old stuff.
Yeah, beliefs, patterns, anything that's holding you back.
And then you come back kind of reborn.
Exactly, a more enlightened being.
That's a powerful idea.
It is, and Heindel gives guidance on how to prepare for it.
Like what?
Meditation, self-reflection, ethical living.
It's like a deep cleaning for your soul.
Haha, yeah, getting rid of the clutter.
Making space for new growth.
There's another term that caught my eye, the Immaculate Conception.
But I'm guessing he's not talking about the biblical story here.
No, not in this. Invisible worlds, multiple bodies, death and rebirth, and even practical tips for growing spiritually.
Heindel covers a lot of ground.
It's pretty mind-blowing, the scope of the Rosicrucian teachings.
It is, but that's what I love about these deep dives.
Me too.
We get to explore these big ideas, question everything.
Expand our understanding of ourselves and the universe.
Even if we don't get every detail, it's inspiring to know there's so much out there.
These amazing systems of knowledge just waiting to be discovered.
And I think the biggest takeaway from all this is that if we really are co-creators of our reality,
it's Heindel says,
then we got to use our thoughts and actions wisely.
Not just for ourselves,
but for everyone, for the whole world.
It's both empowering and a little scary, right?
It is. It makes you realize every choice has an impact.
Well, this has been an amazing journey through the Rosicrucian Mysteries.
I'm so glad we got to dive into this.
We just scratched the surface, but hopefully it sparked some curiosity.
And if you do decide to explore further,
remember what Heindel said.
Use your knowledge wisely.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll catch you on the next one.